Hello and welcome to my first measured play game scoring video. I'm going to do a whole bunch of videos on the channel where I'm going to review various games that I really enjoy and have played before, games that I haven't played before, even games that I've played before and think may not be a good fit for us as more slow play casual gamers. I'm going to review all of those and apply a simple scoring system I've come up with to rank these videos, 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10, or lower, in the hopes that it helps you all as fellow casual, slow play gamers that need games that fit your interruptions that happen in life, fit your needs to pause and save and continue and hold your interest over multiple sessions. So this first video, I'm going to introduce my simple measured play scoring system. And then I'm going to go ahead and review one of my favorite games I'm playing right now, which is Avowed. And then we'll close up with actually showing you my Avowed measured play score. So hope you like it. Hope you find it helpful. And I would love to hear comments about Avowed, if you played it or not, about the scoring system, other things you think should be part of the scoring system. I would just love to read your comments. So with that, let's get going. I'll explain the measured play scoring system, and then we will review Avowed. Okay, let me review real quick my measured play score system I'm going to use, and we'll just call this Game X as an example. The measures I'm going to include for the scoring system are going to be 10 out of 10 scores for fun, save, pause, continue, visual, and Twitch penalty. Fun is the obvious. Is it fun? Is it addictive? Does it make you want to come back to the game? The usual kind of stuff. Is it drawing you in, especially for us more casual gamers over multiple sessions? Save, is it easy to save the game at any point in time? If you've got to save it right away because you've got to get up and go do something, you got to go do life, and then be able to come back to that save later. So is it easy to save? Pause, is it easy to pause if you're right in the middle of an important part of the game, whether you're in a battle or you're just exploring or whatever? Is it easy to pause pretty much at any time so that you can take care of whatever business you have to take care of, bio break, kids, dog, etc., and then come back to the game? Continue. Is it easy to continue the game where you left off? Is it easy to remember the mechanics of the game and exactly what your situation was? Or is the game so difficult that you've got to go do tutorials every time you come back into the game after not having played it for a while? So continue. Visual, a big appeal for me is how graphically appealing is the game. I am really a sucker for really, really great looking games, great settings, great graphics, all the usual DLSS, ray tracing kind of stuff. I just really think for me, that's a very important factor in making games fun to play. And then finally, this Twitch penalty, I call it a Twitch penalty. Are there any negatives I would take away from the score for any particular other reason? For example, are there parts of the game that require you to be Twitch reflex muscle activity, focused, and you can't get past a part of the game without having fast reflexes? I'm not saying those games aren't fun. I'm saying for us as measured players where we're focused more on being able to get in and out of a game, continue to enjoy it, and not get caught up in having to practice, running and sliding or reflex actions. If the game has a lot of that, then I may assign like a negative penalty to the overall score. And there might be other penalties, and for other reasons a game might have. It's just going to depend on the game. So, for example, a game might be 10 out of 10 fun. It might be 9 out of 10 save because you can save at any time, but maybe there's not a hotkey for it type thing. Pause. Most games are pretty good at being able to pause, but if you're in an FPS multiplayer game, obviously pausing is going to be much lower because you can't just pause a multiplayer game, obviously, anytime you want to. So, you know, pause might be more challenging in some types of games. Continue, you know, let's say this game, it's really easy. The mechanics are easy. It's easy to get back into understanding where you were, what quest line you're in, what your character attributes and classes and skills are. You know, maybe it's really easy. The game's pretty straightforward and you don't have 100 different trees of skills that you're trying to build. Visual, gosh, you know, games like Death Stranding, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, you know, those are examples of games that are really visually appealing. And then, you know, again, maybe if I'm looking at an FPS game or if I'm looking at like Elden Ring, for example. Elden Ring is an amazing game that I did actually finish. But you probably have to assign a bit of a Twitch penalty to it because quite a number of the boss fights, you've got to know exactly what you're doing and have just the right reflexes at the right time to be able to get past it. So, you know, maybe there's a bit of a penalty there, maybe a -2 or something, if this were a game like that. So this is how the scoring system will kind of work. I'll go through each of these measures for a given game and come up with a score. And we'll see what you all think, if you agree, disagree, for each video I do. That's it. Let's go. Okay, let me set the stage for Avowed. Avowed takes place in Eora, where you play an envoy of the Dear Empire sent to the living lands to investigate the Dream Scourge. It's a mysterious soul plague that spreads madness and corruption. And as you dig in through the main story, you get pulled into conflicts between Imperial forces, local factions, military or militant religious orders, and all the while, this strange divine presence becomes tied to your survival and the fate of all of the living lands. Avowed does a great job of supporting multiple characters and multiple loads. Here you can see I've got a character named Jay, and I've got a whole series of manual saves and auto saves. It does save automatically when it decides it needs to. But from a save perspective, as I'll show you, you can save anytime you want to. I save all the time right before, a fight. When I think some dialogue is coming up, I'll save before that because maybe I'll want to go through the dialogue and then go back and go through it a little differently. So you could do manual saves in addition to the auto saves for multiple characters. So here Jay is a level 5. I also have a character that I called Envoy that is at level 9. And I've got my first character I started called Bindi is actually level 21. So I'm having a lot of fun, actually. I played Bindi, who is a dual pistol ranger build, up through level 21. And then I decided what might be fun is to have multiple characters with different classes and play each of them at the same points in the game so I can kind of compare each of those approaches for that particular boss fight or conflict. So what I'm doing right now is with Bindi at level 21, Envoy at level 9, and Jay at level 5, I'm working Jay up to level 9 to match Envoy. And then I'm going to get both of them all the way leveled up to 21 to match Bindi so that I can kind of compare all three of those classes. Bindi is a dual pistol ranger build. Envoy is more of a battle mage build. And Jay is a hardcore two-handed weapon fighter build. As I mentioned, from a save perspective, you both have autosave and you can manually save from really at any point in the game. From the escape key menu, I can choose save game anytime I want to. What you'll also notice is in the settings for keyboard, there are quick keys set up. If I go right down here, let me find it here. There it is. Quick save is F5. Quick load is F8. So at any point in the game, I could just hit F5 and I can save right where I am before something's going on. Very handy from a casual play perspective. In terms of continuing where I left off, I feel like Avowed does a really good job. If I hit tab and go into my journal, I can see exactly what the main story is. I can see any of the side quests I have and what area of the map they're on. I can, at any time, I can go in and I can read all kinds of documents for each of the areas and a lot of lore. I can go do tutorials anytime I feel like I need to, but I actually have not needed to do that at all. And the tutorials also update automatically as you come across new things like destructible walls, encumbrance, essence generators, etc. So it makes it real easy to come back into the game from that quest perspective. It's also really easy to come back in and kind of remember where you were from your abilities and your character perspective. So if I start with character first, your core attributes are might, constitution, dexterity, perception, intellect, and resolve. And as you play the game, you earn points that you can apply towards these areas. It's very straightforward. It's very easy to understand what each of these do. Nice explanation for each one of them. So it's easy to come back in and see like where you were building points up in. Take a look at your general attributes over here on the right, and then tweak your attribute points accordingly as you earn them. So it's straightforward enough that it doesn't take a whole bunch of reading to get back into understanding it, but it's also interesting enough that it definitely makes a difference where you put your points. If I'm a two-handed fighter, as you see, I'm on the Envoy. Envoy is my battle mage, I think. So I've got a lot of points into both intellect, which will give me more essence bar for doing spells as a mage, a battle mage. But I'm also putting points into might because I'm a mage that carries a shield and a one-hand weapon, and resolve, which is, kind of my maximum stamina for continuing to be able to stand in the fight. Whereas other characters, I might be focused a lot on dexterity and perception, like my ranger, for example. So character, and then coming back in and understanding abilities. Some games have very large ability trees, and they're fun, and they're very customizable. But I feel like Avowed does a really good job of keeping it fairly simple, yet interesting enough that your choices really do matter. So for each of the types of builds I'm trying to shoot for, a fighter, a ranger, a wizard, I can put points into any of the areas that I want to build up those particular areas. This battle mage, for example, I'm putting points into armored grace, which decreases the stamina penalty, so I can continue to carry a shield and things like that, and wear heavy armor since I'm standing kind of in the mix, but not have as much of a penalty for it. But as a battle mage, I'm also putting quite a few points into the wizard area for, missiles and more armor and being able to use my spell book more efficiently. So a lot of shield kind of defensive stuff. So it's very interesting, but it's not overly complex. It's easy to get right back into where you were, and as you continue to play and earn points, you can apply those appropriately. And one quick little note here about Avowed: even though technically I'm building this as a battle mage, it doesn't matter what I do in the character. I can pick any abilities I want from all of these areas if I want. I can pick some things from fighter and some things from wizard, even if my core build is a dual pistol ranger kind of build. So there's a lot of flexibility there. visually, the game is very, very interesting. It's not procedurally based. The maps are actually generated by hand. They're designed and created by hand. It's kind of nighttime right now, so it doesn't look as great. So doesn't this look interesting? Again, it's kind of nighttime right now. I'll grab some other footage when it's a little lighter outside. I've jumped here over and tried to splice some other footage from some different biomes in. I love panoramic scenes, so I seem to always jump to them. Panoramas, great narration, cut scenes, very, very cool. Here's a city on fire. Each biome's just so different. I'll show you just a few more scenes here, and then I'll jump back into the combat scene we were just about to start when I left off. Great visuals, great visuals. Okay, let's go back and show that combat I was about to start. I believe there's a confrontation coming up right up here. So let me show you what that looks like as well. Use some grenades. Use some spells. Switch over to my shield. Notice as we're playing here, I've got my partners are playing with me. I'm not paying a whole lot of attention. I'm about to die here, honestly. So it's kind of fun. You got multiple characters going on. You can control each of their abilities. I didn't show it a whole lot there, but you've got dialogue in between that carries the story forward, carries your relationships forward with characters. Based on the decisions you make, where I put my points, I can force or head down certain dialogue routes that I couldn't otherwise do here because I've got a lot of might. I can choose this option. So we just met a new character, and she ends up being available to us as someone that we can put in our group with us. Right now I've got Kai and I've got Marius. Each of them have their own unique abilities. Now that the sun's coming out, you can see a little more of what's going on. From a graphic perspective, again, it looks like a good, well done, non-generated game. Very, very, very good. Very appealing graphically. So that's really the core information, trying to keep it as a short review and focus on the measured play score here for you for Avowed. I covered some of the fun. I showed you a very simple battle, what that looks like. I showed you the save features. You can save for multiple characters, both autosave and there's a hotkey for save. Load is the same way, quick load. From a pause perspective, I can go to the menu at any time. And also during the play, there's a key. When I pop a key up to use one of my character's skills, I believe... I didn't actually test it here a minute ago, but I believe that's a pause as well for you. So very easy to save, very easy to load, very easy to continue into the game again because of the interest but non-complexity of your character and the attributes. And I just think it's a very visually appealing game. It's very unique. Each of the biomes is completely different. This biome looks, like it's got interesting, strange plants. The biome after this is basically a desert. The one before this was much more foresty. So visually, it's very, very appealing. I don't know that I'm going to give it any kind of a Twitch penalty. there are very few quick reflexes that you need in order to play the game. As we just saw in that simple combat there are situations where you'll dodge, you'll quick dodge to the right or to the left or backward. But there's really not a lot of hardcore timing like the Souls-like games, so I don't know that I'm going to assign any Twitch penalties to this game. Okay, let's put my measured play score together for Avowed. So, Avowed. Okay. And again, this is my opinion, my perspective, but I definitely want to share and see what you all think as well. Is Avowed fun? Is it addictive? Yes, it absolutely is. I've got 3 characters, all slightly different, and I'm playing them all through the same content because I want to actually compare them with each other. So yes, it is absolutely fun. 10 out of 10 for me. Save. Is it easy to save across sessions? Yes, there's a hotkey for it. There are auto saves, and I can manually save anytime I want to. So from a casual play perspective, 10 out of 10. Is it easy to pause at any time? Yes, I can hit the escape key and pop into the menus. Now, when I'm right in the middle of a boss fight, again, I apologize. I didn't actually test again hitting the key where it pulls up the radial and I can select which skills I want my companions to use. I believe that is a hard pause where it pauses everything going on so that I can choose the skill, or I can, take some health potion or some essence potion. I'm 95% sure that is a hard pause. So I think it fully supports pausing both when you're walking around, not in a battle, just hitting escape to the menus, and when you're in a battle, you can pop up that radial and it stops everything. I'm going to give it a 10. I would give it a 9, but that would be based on my lack of information more than the game itself. So I'm going to give it a 10. Easy to recall the mechanics, remember where we left off. Yes, I think their balance of complexity versus interest in the character and the attributes and the skills, I think that is easy enough that you can jump right back in where you left off and kind of understand what you were doing. But I also think it's interesting enough that you've got a lot of options to be able to pick up where you left off and then continue to tweak. So I think it's a 10 out of 10. I'm going to be honest. Visual, I think the game is very graphically appealing. It's very unique. It's hand drawn. It's not procedural. There's lots of very panoramic scenes. It does a great job there. Is it a KCD2? Is it a Death Stranding? Is it a, it is the Unreal Engine. It's not the same kind of, visual clarity and accuracy as like a Kingdom Come Deliverance, but from a visual perspective, I think it's great. I think it is absolutely great. So do I want to call it a 10? No, I'm probably going to give it a 9. It is right up there. And then any Twitch penalty? No, there's no boss fight I've ever been in where my lack of reflexes, impeded me in continuing the game. There's no other issues I've come across around game jankiness or any weirdness at all. So I'm not going to assign any Twitch penalty to it. So with those scores in place, the measured play score for Avowed is 9.8. Good job, Avowed. Great game. A lot of fun. Very enjoyable, and I can't wait to actually finish it with multiple characters. Okay, so measured play score. I covered what it is and how it works. I did a quick review of the game Avowed. We saw the Avowed score. Hopefully you found this interesting and helpful. I'm going to do quite a few other videos on other games. If you want to drop a comment and let me know what other games you have an interest in seeing scored or seeing a bit of a review on, I'm not going to do full reviews of the games. I'm going to really try to focus the reviews on this measured play score, the things that make the game good for us from a more casual play, very measured play perspective. But let me know what games you have an interest in. Let me know your thoughts on Avowed. Subscribe to stay updated and notified as I put new videos out and new reviews out. Again, love to hear your comments. Love to see you get involved and share in this experience together of finding the games that really appeal to us as measured play gamers. Have fun.